I have a social anxiety disorder, and that can have an effect on how I make friends, keep friends, even form relationships, keep relationships, etc. I've been this way since I was a little girl, and now as an adult I'm getting better at handling it, but it's still kind of there. So when I was a lot younger, I think I wasn't necessarily as much of a shy kid. I think that kind of happened because of the bullying that I went through with school. When I was younger, I did have friends, but I wasn't really the kind of kid to play by themselves or to be isolated from other kids. I always wanted to play with other children. But I guess as I started going into public school and going into first grade, kids were a lot more cruel and vicious, and so it would lead me to being isolated from all the other kids and to being deemed as the weird, quiet girl in class. And that pretty much was something that I was labeled with all the way through high school. I never really broke out of that shell. I think I more so just kind of accepted it, like, okay, well, no one wants to associate themselves with me, no one wants to be my friend, so I will just be the weird, quiet girl, and I'll just accept that as who I am. But having a social anxiety disorder can really have effects on you. Even if you have it maybe not as severe as others, or even if you have chronic social anxiety, it can just have an extreme effect on how you interact with other people. For myself personally, I was always the person to want to help others. I loved helping other people, and I loved being there for other people. I think because no one did that for me. No one in my life, aside from my family, was there for me to sit down and tell me, you know, you can tell me anything that you want, you can vent out your problems to me, and I will listen to you, and I'll actually care about you. No one has done that for me, so I think I've just taken up the role of being that giver for my friends, which has led to me realizing that sometimes people can manipulate you. Sometimes they can take advantage of your kind nature, and they can use it for themselves, to better themselves. If you're a manipulator of any sense of the word, sorry to say, but you're kind of an asshole. That's just what it is. You're an asshole. Like, no one deserves to be manipulated, and no one asks to have, you know, anxious feelings or terrible, terrible symptoms when they go out and meet somebody. Like, for example, sometimes at parties I would cling on to my friends because I didn't want to interact with anyone else, and no one wanted to really interact with me. So I was always the third wheel all the time, and I would just kind of cling on to my friends, emotionally and sort of physically. I would just kind of follow them wherever they went. When I first make friends, or when anyone gives me any sort of affection, meaning that if they maybe reach out to me for friendship, I cling myself to them and I like absorb them into my life like a sponge. It can be really hard for someone like me who is having a hard time as it is to go out and socialize. It's then harder to keep those friendships. And even when people would invite me out to like parties or social gatherings or whatever, I would always feel like I don't belong there. I would always feel like, what's the point of going to these social gatherings, because no one's talking to me, no one's interested in talking to me, I'm clinging to all these people that probably find me annoying, I just want to go home. Going off of that topic, I know if you have this disorder, I know how easy it is for you to want to just stay isolated. You've been used to kind of just being isolated by people, so you're like, well, I might as well just kind of stick in my own little personal bubble and just not even try. Believe me, there are days when I just don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to stay in my own bubble and do what makes me happy, and I don't want to do anything else outside of the real world. So for those people who are sociable, be lucky for the group of friends that you have, for the true friends that you have, and for how easy it is for you to go up to a stranger and talk to them, or whatever. For me, it's hard. I can't do it. It's just that sometimes you can have friends where you talk for maybe a couple days and then you don't talk for maybe a couple of weeks and then you pick it up again. I kind of find those friendships to be pointless and tedious because it's emotionally exhausting for me to have to keep starting up and building up a foundation for a friendship that might falter anyway. It's just hard. If there are people watching this who have a social anxiety disorder, know that it's okay and it is not your fault. It is not your fault that you have had this brought into your life, or maybe you've had it all along. I hope this has somewhat made sense. I hope this is on point as well, because I don't have any sort of bullet points I'm going along. I'm just kind of speaking from experience, speaking like literally just from my mind out to the camera, so I hope this makes coherent sense. I will leave some links down below in the description about the disorder so you guys can know more about it. And if you have friends that are dealing with this disorder, don't just take their friendship for granted, or don't take their niceness for granted. Don't take anybody's friendship or niceness for granted, or use it for your own personal gain. Because that, like I said before, is manipulation. So it's just, I think it comes with time and it comes with maturity. Just realize that all you have at the end of the day is yourself, that you can't rely on your friends to always be there for you, and you have only yourself to really boost you up, to make yourself happy, and to go forward. I don't know what it feels like to have a best friend. I don't know what it feels like to have a true friend that will stick by me until the end and will not just pick up conversation with me whenever they feel pleased about it. Like, if you want to be my friend, make the effort to talk to me. Is that so much to ask for? I don't know. That's just my opinion. That is, I think, all I wanted to say about this topic. I'm getting really overheated, so I'm gonna go, but I hope that you guys at least took away something from this video. I hope that this made sense and that it all kind of came together in the end. I just want you guys to know, for those of you that are dealing with this, that if it's going to a point where it's taking over your life and you cannot lead a normal life for yourself, then it might be best to go to a therapist, you know, a behavioral therapist, or more specifically, a cognitive behavioral therapist, because they're specialized in anxiety disorders and social anxiety disorders. Social anxiety is not fun. Any sort of mental disorder can lead to more serious problems. So if you feel like you want to get help, then, you know, don't be afraid of going to therapy, because they can help you and they're qualified to listen to you, and their job is to listen to you, to help you understand what you're going through, and to put maybe a name to a possible disorder that you have. Yeah, that's kind of it. Bye, guys.